I love simple stuff. And again, this stuff's not too expensive to bring to the channel because again, there's no money coming in, but I am willing to put out for my subscribers. Oh shit, that just sounded wrong. But I am willing to give back to the channel. Alrighty guys, welcome back to Vegas Confessions, a trip recap. Always my favorite.
Yep.
This one took me a couple days to recover from though.
At least.
It was a blast. I think I tweeted there was 100 hours in Vegas and slept 12. But a lot of stuff was covered, a lot of people were met, a lot of friends made, and a lot of casinos visited. So that was a blast. So I want to cover shout outs as we go through the show because I know there's going to be some way, somehow, I'm going to forget to mention some, but there's been comments, there's been so much between being there, trying to keep up with messages, trying to keep up with everything. It's just been crazy. And so there was a couple instances you guys will hear that just blew my mind, and it was hard for me to, just like wrap my mind around everything. And that happened a couple times this trip. I called you a few times, and I'm like, oh my God.
So, a lot of firsts for you.
Yes.
And a lot of things that normally don't happen. Like, he didn't get to gamble very much, and you didn't get to drink hardly at all.
No.
Because you were so on the go. So.
I know if you guys are new here, you guys are probably thinking, oh, these people don't gamble or drink. We are totally gamblers and drinkers sometimes in Vegas. Sometimes. But...
Gambler always.
Yeah, of course. But I will say there was a lot of things covered this trip, and man... I still can't believe some of the things that happened. There were some things I've still yet to tweet out. There's some things I told you, I was like, babe, wow, man. Like, how do you even thank people for some of the things that happened? So again, we're going to cover day by day some of the crazy stories and instances that happened. But again, if you're new around here, my name is Julian. I'm one host. I do the show here with my beautiful wife, Kelly. We have a good time talking casinos, Las Vegas, and gambling. So if any of that's in your alley, you're in the perfect spot right here.
That's right.
So let's jump into day one. As we get into it, like I said, I'll throw shout outs in there. Of course, I got into town about almost 3. And as I got into town, I checked in and our buddy Saul was already there. And if you guys listen to the show, you guys know Saul is somebody, it's a ritual. We always get together, we play blackjack for at least a couple hours. And so that's what we were going to do. So I get there and Saul was like, hey, Jay, we have plans this time, right? We're not just going to gamble. I said, nope, we got to go visit some dispensaries. And so on the way to the dispensaries, he was like, hey, I got something really cool to show you. And I was like, well, what could that be, right?
Yeah.
And as much as we go to Vegas, we like to try and think, oh yeah, we see a lot of stuff. We cover a lot of ground, but there's always new stuff, right?
So, every time something new.
Oh yeah, and it's cool because it's always brought into our attention by friends. And we're always like, hell yeah, that makes it even more special to us. So he's like, we're going to make a pit stop on the way to this place, Jardin. Like, all right, I don't know if it's Jardine, whatever it is, but it's really popular. It's really nice too. So so we stop on the way, right?
And got a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah, so we stop. Yeah, a little too much. So we stop on the way and he's like, Jay, check this house out. And we drive up and it's literally the original house in the film Casino. The original house where he's driving away from, they live in, it takes place. I'm like, are you serious? So how did I never know this? He's like, not a lot of people know where this is. He's like, I've been living here for he's been there for like 3 years now.
And so was a realtor, so
yes.
I mean, I'm sure that helps.
Yeah,
and he knows a little bit more
right,
about the landscape and residential areas. And
a lot of
like
history behind the building, and a lot of people go by there and take pictures and stuff. So I guess the person that lives there is used to that kind of stuff, people driving by and stuff. But the upkeep on the house is very nice for as old as it is. But yeah, I was like, how freaking cool. So we went from there, went to Jardin. Didn't know what to expect. Security everywhere. We walk up, music's bumping, there's people outside, products outside on the tables, they're showing you specials, different companies, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? So we walk inside, literally, show them ID, you're good to go inside. pushing through like this magic wall, and the door opens up, and you go inside, and literally, Saul said it the best, and I have a little interview I'll throw in here too. He mentions, this place was, for me and him, we're regular smokers, and so it's overwhelming walking in there and you see all this stuff. You're like, holy you don't even know where to go, right? And all I went for looking for was specials. So,
and if he was overwhelmed, I would have been lost.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely
and
lost.
Saul, babe, Saul, who always goes there, he's like, Jay, it's always that way. He's like, I just go in for what I need and I get out. He's like, because I know I can. He's all, the best way to reference this place, it's like an Apple store for weed. It's so clean that everything's layered, everything's in organized rows, and it's everything you need. And so I went to one later, which I'll tell you guys about, and it's really simple. As much as, I try to be sneaky, not take pictures and stuff. Literally, you walk around, scan QR codes with your phone so you see what you're purchasing. Right. I'm like, oh, how convenient, right? So I get up to the counter. I let the lady know, hey, I'm here for, a show purpose. I'm shopping. I'm looking at product. Everything you got. Okay, no problem. So I went in thinking, I'll spend like $150 at the most, right? So I knew I was going to get 3 cartridges, which are the wax cartridges for the vape pens. So those are 3 for $100. And I figured, hey, I'll get a pre-roll so we have something to do afterwards. And maybe, another jar of some flour. So I asked what was on special. The lady's like, oh, all of these right here for $25. I'm like, okay, well, do me a favor. You pick one out. Pick a sativa. And she comes back with 2 different jars.
This is when you're not a good shopper.
Right. So she comes back with 2 jars, right? And she's like, okay, so I got one and this one. And one of them said blackjack. And I'm like, oh, well, that's just fitting. I'll take that one. So starts ringing me up.
Failed to ask if it was part of the special.
Well, I asked for part of the special.
Right, but then you told her, you pick one out for me.
So she comes back and she starts ringing me up. $196.99, and I'm like, and at this point you can't be like, okay, look, I don't want this one, So
you tell me, I can't be a bitch at this point and say put something back.
Yeah, right. Like, oh no, that's not what I want.
And this place was cash only.
Oh yes, and so that was part of it. So I had like 160 cash on me, and so as I'm pulling my wallet out, I pull my card out, and I was like, we could do card. She's like, it's cash only. So I had 100 in cash, and so. Not even hesitation, but I didn't look at him. He knew. He threw $100 on the thing, took care of it. And she mentioned, she's like, well, that's a good friend. I was like, oh, believe me, we're going to play blackjack right now. So $100 is nothing. Like we're going to gamble. And she started laughing. She's all, that's really cool though. No words nothing needed to be said.
Right.
Just, he got your back. She's like, I need more friends like that. So again, just goes to show a lot about Saul, right? Only fitting. I paid for everything, right? Everything was really nice. I ended up tipping the lady a little extra. She was really nice. And again, big part of it of going was, how simple it was, how safe it is. And again, easy. So walked in, walked out less than 10 minutes. All right. We were on our way back to Alice. We wanted to go gamble a little bit. And funny story, I didn't put it in the notes for the show, but every time I go to Vegas, I should know better just to get cash before I go, right? I always tell myself, just get cash before you go. And I'd love to know if you guys have ever had this problem.
And I always tell him.
And it always happens.
It's better to have the cash and not have to worry about your card being stopped, because that happens all the time too. When you go out of state, they're gonna flag your card because they want to protect themselves, the banks, but they want to protect you too.
Right.
So if you have not called your bank, which he never does, ever. I get on and I'm like, okay, gonna be leaving the state. These are the cities I'm visiting. This one will never do it. And lo and behold, he's like, why can't I get money out?
Yeah, I went to Bank of America. I tried to pull money out of Alice. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So then I'm like, really like, oh, fuck, I owe so $100. I'm like, oh man, I owe so $100. I can't get cash out. Like, what's really happening, right? So eventually I call the bank. It all gets squared away. Get cash out. Me and Saul end up on the blackjack table for about 2-3 hours just playing blackjack, hanging out, having a good time. It was funny because every time somebody tended to sit down, our luck would just drop. And so every time somebody left, it was just me and him. We would catch back up. So after all in all, I think we cashed out even, which was great.
Which is a win.
Yeah.
It's a win when you're playing blackjack for 3 hours.
Night one, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Night one, we cashed out even. He ended up telling me he was going to the spring training that was in Arizona that weekend. So he wouldn't be gone the weekend. So he did want to get down and play some blackjack, which was always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool to, have a session after a session, because the blackjack session was fun too, but you know, the first one was a blast. Oh, you're a blast, dude. But again, after that, I had nothing to do. I knew Wednesday was pretty much my loosey-goosey day, so I didn't have much going on.
Right.
But I knew Tuscany, which was next door, because me and Saul, when we were having our session, we were kind of overlooking the MSG Sphere that's being built.
Yeah.
And that's like this big, what I thought it was like a theater and people can go in there and watch like movies and shows. And he's like, Jay, this thing's going to be like a concert hall. This thing's going to have everything you need. You're going to be able to watch shows, everybody, artists. It's like going to be a big deal. Yeah. So I was like, lo and behold, it's right there where we're chilling, right? So I'm like, that's cool. So afterwards we start talking and he starts telling me, oh yeah, well this is Tuscany right here. And I'm like, really? That's where they should put a Circa Sportsbook in. So I was like, I might just take a walk over there just to go check that out, maybe get a few pictures or video. Well, later on, I decided to take off and head over. So I head over and I see the setup and I take a picture. And Saul gave me a warning. He's like, hey Jay, be careful, because you know it's a local spot. Everybody's pretty chill there, but the security is on point. Like if they catch you taking pictures, they're gonna ask you to stop. And he's like, so just watch yourself. I'm like, all right. So I literally went in. Boy, it was like my camera click couldn't be louder, right? And it wasn't even fucking on, right? This thing, security was on me. So everywhere I walked around, I started looking. I saw security just watching me, so I left it at that. But I will say that place was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And especially that we've been to Alice, which is right next door, and we've never been there. Like, it's really an eye opener because we're missing so much, right? And so, and you guys know from the post and stuff, like I've been casino hopping this trip, all kinds of stuff, but that place was surprisingly nice considering we're always in that area.
Right.
So that was one thing I did mention in these videos that are going to be coming out, vlogs, Virgin, everything, you name it, there's going to be all kinds of stuff coming. But throughout this vlog, I mentioned there's a few places that I really want you to check out that are worth checking out that were very surprising, like a Palace Station and all these ones that we've never even checked out, right? So I was like, you know what? I can't wait for Babe to come check these out because you're going to dig it. Like Tuscany had 1 cent video poker. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's heaven right there.
That's
so
true. Yeah,
there was like little things.
Spot.
Yeah, I was looking for little things at different places that stood out. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. Afterwards, I decided to just go ahead and take a walk up to the Strip because I wanted to see, because it was busier earlier in the day. When I drove in, Babe, 2-3 o'clock, both sides of the Strip lined with people, and I was like, holy shit, right?
Which is totally opposite of the last time we went, because we went in the last week of October for Halloween, and we took the kids, and it wasn't very busy.
No, and that was one thing about this trip. Every single place I went to, casino, restaurant, dispensary, business, you name it, everybody's like, dude,
it's been busy.
It's been busier.
The last weekend too, right?
Yeah,
but they said part of it was March Madness.
Yeah, part of it's March Madness.
I think a lot of it is people are just getting out now.
Yes.
People are just tired and they want to get back to normal, and more people have been vaccinated, and they're like, we want to return to life.
And speaking of vaccinated, side note, people getting in the elevators, like at Plaza the last night, I saw it happen multiple times where, it's supposed to be 4 in an elevator, and there was like 6, and so like there was 2 families, right? Well, you could see everybody pile in, and then they were like, there's a hesitation. I stood back, right? Well, you could see them, and one of the ladies tells the other lady, oh, it's okay, sweetheart. We's vaccinated, right? And so the other lady and the husband, oh, us too. Oh, we're good. High five. Yeah, so it was really cool to see people's guard down. Everybody's ready to get back out. Like, everybody, a lot of people still wearing masks, so it was really cool.
Well, the masks still are mandatory in the casinos, right?
Right.
So, you have to. Right. But it is nice to see people getting out.
Yes.
Yes.
And to hear places like Jesse Ray say, listen, we ran out of meat like at 2 o'clock yesterday. Like, we don't know what to do. And then customers are coming in and we don't know what to tell them. Like, that's a good problem to have, right?
That's a great problem to have.
So I told him, I was like, dude, just wait till that stadium opens. Like, you're really going to have problems on your hands.
Until capacity starts again. And if I read correctly, football just announced they're going to have a regular 17-game season coming up. That's what they're planning on. I'm not sure about
And the
attendance.
bigger news might be is Super Bowl in 2024 in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
That's something that's supposed to happen. So we'll see. And that'll be fun because we'll go that weekend. That's mandatory.
That'll be crazy.
Yeah, hell yeah, it will be. It'll be worth it though to witness it. So yeah, I did want to head up to the Strip, take a walk. I went up through Cromwell, went up through Flamingo, Harris, all that side. Eventually ended up in the food court. Got a couple of cool videos of a guy with a saxophone and stuff. You guys will
That
be able
video
to see.
is cool, yeah.
You guys will be able to see that in
Make sure you guys subscribe to the Vegas Confessions podcast. I'm Ryan with the Sax.
to see if I was going to be able to get on the craps table at Alice, which I knew was going to be hard because it's still 3 and 3 on each side. And the blackjack, $5 blackjack table is impossible, right? So I still headed back, went to go check it out. Sure enough, I'm walking in the casino, I'm walking around the tables, and I'm looking, and as I'm walking, this guy stops in front of me, like, and I'm not paying attention, so like I almost crash into him, right? He turns around. It's the listener of the show, Tristan. I'm like, son of a bitch, what's up, man? Like, yeah, how are you? Yeah, so I was like, dude, how are you? So it was really cool to see him. We sat there, chatted for a couple hours, waited for the craps table to open up, and literally a couple hours, which brought up a really interesting story. So we're sitting there, we're waiting. Again, we're not getting on blackjack. We're waiting for the craps table. We're joking, having some smokes, and just hanging out. Well, there's a couple I noticed. The guy is wearing a Fresno State sweater.
Oh, yeah.
And so you know me, I'm like, oh, Mr. Talker. I walk over, oh, you guys from Fresno? And he's like, oh, yeah, we're from Fresno. Long story short, she hadn't been to Ellis Island in like 10 years. He's never, ever gambled. Never, ever been to Vegas or in a casino. She's used to be like a full-time gambler. Started off in sports betting with hockey. I mean, just full-on poker player, like everything, right? And sweetest, innocent-looking little girl, right? You wouldn't think. And so babe, we start asking her, we're like, so how'd you get into this? She was like, oh, my ex-husband, he was a NHL player, and so like he would, he'd watch things, and so she was like, there's a lot of things to look at in hockey. I'm like, really? She's like, oh yeah, I still do it to this day. I'm like, really? She's like, I just had to chill out a lot. But babe, this guy, I'm as we're talking, I would notice him. He's kind of looking over at the craps table. Now, mind you guys, there's craps etiquette, right? There's gambling etiquette. You don't watch over people's shoulder. Right. You don't get too close. Everybody knows, well, majority of people know that stuff. So this guy, you walk over, literally lean over the craps table and watch what was rolled. And he's like, he'd come back and he'd just, I don't get it, right? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I wouldn't do it, right? And I was telling her, I was like, yo, we got to get him to throw dice. If it's his first time gambling, like there's beginner's luck. That's a thing. And she's like, I know, but we couldn't, we couldn't get on the table. So we start laughing and we're hanging out because I'm watching him just lose his mind. Like, how do these people put money? How do you guys gamble this game? So it just really reminded me of Kelly and Julian at the first time at the casino again, right? Like, are you serious? You just put money in and this is... And so she walked him over to...
give it away?
Yeah, she walked him over to the roulette area. I don't know if they ended up playing roulette because me and Tristan did lose them later. We didn't see them. And we did get on the table, which we ended up playing with one of our fun dealer, Lindsay, and a couple others, and we were only on for like an hour before the table closed. So again, cashed out even, no biggie there. Eventually went up, called it a night. After that point, it was already almost 3:30, right? Because it closes at 3. So one thing I will mention about the first night is talking to Tristan is he had a really cool craps run at Circa, which we'll get back onto in a little bit because he shows us a video later on. But just a really, really dumb run of luck. And I was like, are you serious? Like, he couldn't even believe it when he showed me the picture of the ticket. I was like, are you nuts? But we'll cover that later on. Thursday, I woke up immediately and was like, oh shit, I didn't bring toothpaste. So I knew 7-Eleven's next door. I'm going to go get coffee anyway. I'm going to go pick one up. So that was convenient. Picked one up there. Got back to the room. But as I was heading back, I noticed like this Raider car that was parked outside of Ellis Island. And it was like a little Kia, but it was badass. Graphics, everything, Las Vegas in the front, and in the back had like all these different skulls and stuff, which I'll show you guys. But I thought it was really, really neat. And it was for sale, so I posted a little video on Twitter. Anybody looking for a car for sale, here you go, right? So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So I knew I had an interview set up with Jesse Race over with Mike. And Mike was, again, guys, willing to have me come in and shoot him, action in the kitchen. So I got some images of, which I'll show you guys here, of him, doing his magic in the kitchen, chopping up some meats.
And that was a first for you, so you're excited about that.
Oh my God! Like, to be in the kitchen, you guys know me. Like, to be, I even said it, like, making this vlog, like, being in somebody's kitchen is a pretty big deal to me. And to him to welcome me in with open arms, I'm a nobody. And then to see him say, hey, you know what? We're gonna make two of the most popular dishes, which were the Maniac fries and the Jesse Ray's sandwich. He's like, and I want you to see how it's made. So again, he made the fries phenomenal. I'll show you guys, just off the walls. And then he tells me, you know, about this sandwich that's basically his wife's favorite sandwich, and that this is the way she would eat her sandwich every time she goes to the restaurant. So they do it on the special, and now it's on the menu forever, and it's one of the best popular items. So really cool. Again, overwhelming with food. Too much food. He knows what he does over there, but he does a hell of a job. And that's one thing I made sure he knew is, again, thank you. Really cool. Again, didn't let me pay, basically kicked me out. So I told him, all right, I got one for you this time. So I just went ahead and just tipped all the employees. Again, thank you guys. You guys, I mean, I've been in your way. I've been here. All very nice, very appreciative. And again, like, you guys come back whenever. We're still waiting for you to bring the family. Like, I was like, it's really nice. Every time I go down there. Always nice.
And that's what's important too. Not only was it great food, but a great experience.
Yeah.
And that's like half of what you want when you go out, to know that you're A, supporting a local small business, B, that they're super nice and they're super endearing, and you're eating great food.
Right.
Like, it's a win-win-win. So.
And then upon talking to him, I did hear him mentioning, you know, he works with a lot of the other restaurants and local agencies to help them, you know, manage and stuff like that. So again, the guy's very, very crucial in the restaurant business, and just a hell of a guy, stand-up guy. And I'll be putting up a little interview. I sat down with him and just kind of, you know, found out a little more about him, how he got involved in the business. And you may be very interested to hear this one, because he was somebody who was basically front of the house and then decided to open this place, and it's been running it ever since.
Nice.
So again,
those are great stories.
Those are the best
too.
stories. Those are my favorite, because again, it doesn't mean you have to go to college all the time or learn this culinary art, or sometimes you just got to pay attention to detail and put 100% love in it, and then you're on it. So again, perfect example right there. So afterwards, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Ellis Island, go charge some equipment. So I did, you know, one thing that was neat this trip is I had my own car, right? So I was like, you know, I get to just roam around.
You don't have to worry about Ubering everywhere.
That was very convenient. And that's one thing we take for granted is Ubering and Lyft. You know, hey, if I got to go somewhere, just put in the destination. They know where to go. Usually I'm always just posting on my phone anyway. So this is the first time out of like 3 times I got lost. I took a frontage road, and I didn't really get lost, but, you know, I think it was Russell. I got off on Russell, took one of the back streets behind the casino, and ended up going towards downtown when I wanted to go to Alice, you know? So it was one of those things like, oh shit, I was supposed to get off earlier over here.
Because when we drive too, we're usually together, and I always have my GPS on.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, this is where you're going right, this is where you're going left. And Julian always is like, I know where I'm going, you know, and he's very good with his geography skills.
Not this trip.
I am always horrible. So, I mean, even in my hometown, I have GPS on 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So it surprised me when he said, babe, I got lost like 4 times. I'm like, what?
It was a lot of like the back streets and behind the casinos and through the Mirage, right? And I was like, wow, damn. And then all it takes is, I was like, I didn't want to take one of those, so I'm just going to stay on this one, and lo and behold, I just kept going.
And if it's busier, then you have more traffic you aren't worried about.
Traffic was nuts. You know, when I hear people talk about, especially the locals, oh, we stay away from the strip, I understand why. There was a couple times throughout this trip where I almost put myself late just from taking the strip route. So I totally understand what they're saying. So it was really cool to witness. But it was also really cool because, you know, having the convenience of your own car, being able to run around, do what you need on the go. And then there's another surprising story down the road, which, so, I mean, but there was a lot of surprises this trip, a lot of wow moments. From there, I went back to Ellis. You know, I was supposed to meet up with our buddy Bobby G. He wanted to come down with us and hang out, and, you know, he wanted to check out the Virgin opening with me. So I was like, dude, I'm here at Alice. I'll meet you here. You know, I'm just getting back, charging everything. I'll be waiting for you. Well, then he messages me like 30 minutes, 45 minutes later. Jay, there's no ride shares, there's no Ubers, there's no Lyfts, nothing's available. And what I'm hearing is Vegas is not having surcharges through certain hours of the day for the ride sharing.
Oh, so
they
probably
don't
nobody
want
wants.
So they don't want to do it no more. So it's really hard to get Lyfts and Ubers right now.
And if unemployment's extended, they're like, "I'll just stay home and not get paid."
Right. Well, I put the wear and tear on my car is their thought, right? So yeah, so that was something he was like, I'm just gonna stay here at Four Queens tonight. And I'm just going to hang out here, you know. I was like, oh, okay. So I was really kind of bummed. I was like, dang, I want to see him, of course. So I was like, all right, well, I eventually got on the craps table at $5 for like 15 minutes, right? I jumped in. And it was funny because Tim noticed when I jumped in. Tim is one of the pit bosses at Ellis Island. By the way, lost an amazing amount of weight and looks totally different than what we're used to, right?
I remember you called, you're like, babe, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah, right? And so the first day when I got there, and as soon as I went down to meet Saul, the first thing he saw was me. He's like, hey, Jay, how you doing? I got you a comp for your chicken fried chicken already ready to go. I'm like, dude, I haven't even sat down gambled, right?
But that's
He's
what's
like,
amazing, too, is many people that filter through that place.
Right.
And the attention to detail and customer service that he has, like, because we haven't been there since November.
Yeah.
And we were only there like one night, right?
Yeah.
When we went, 2 nights.
And I stayed there before.
We did a walkthrough. But still, like, the attention to detail, you haven't seen, he hasn't stepped foot in Ellis Island for 4 months, and he walks in and the guy remembers him. I mean, that's...
Right. Well, even the day before when me and Saul were having our session and we started walking back in, right? I mean, we're walking back in, I guess it was shift change. So the night crew was coming in. And like 3 of the dealers, hey, you coming to play right now? Like, yeah, we're on our way right now. Like, all right, cool, perfect. Like, so he's like, Jay,
that's really cool.
Everybody knows you. I go, dude, we have a good time. We tip. You know, I'm not the biggest tipper, but $2, $3, $4, $5 every hand. And after a while, it adds up. And so I guess, that makes you noticeable. So, but yeah, so I mean, I met some.
It's like that show Cheers. Like, Norm.
Yeah.
You're back.
So it was a really cool thing. I met a couple other dealers who were there who are potentially coming on the show because they have very interesting conversations about starting in the dealer-tainer era, which they were telling me stories, and I'm like, shut the hell up. And
which I had never heard of until you told me the story. And I'm like,
but there's so many stories.
There was entertainment dealing, like.
And like just some of the stories we were talking about, like she was telling me that it was easier for the casino to bring somebody in and teach them dealing,
right,
versus bringing somebody in
that's a dealer than try to teach them to entertain.
Yeah, that can dance, which
and makes
perform.
Sense.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty nuts though. Like I don't know. I thought,
but I never put together that they would need somebody to be both.
Oh yeah.
Either, you know?
Yeah. Apparently it was a big thing. Yeah. They had Madonna, Mariah Carey, Elvis. I mean, James Brown, everybody. Yeah. I was like, are you serious? They're like, dude, and it was a big thing. So what I learned is, and this is one of the gentlemen we'll be talking to too. There's two that were in that era, but he's an actual Elvis impersonator on the side.
Okay.
And he does it there at Ellis Island on Fridays and Saturdays.
And the karaoke part, you said, right?
Yeah, and the place sells out and packs out. He's like, we haven't done it because of COVID. He's like, dude, but you guys got to come on a Friday and Saturday. You'll lose your mind. He's like, not for me. He's like, just to see the crowd. He's like, because they are so into it. Like, even if I mess up, I don't mess up. He's like, it's crazy. Like, they are so into the moment that this place is rocking on Friday. I was like, are you
funny.
Babe? And I'll show some pictures right now because I got some pictures of him that I saw there at the casino. I mean, he looks good. And I was like,
funny.
Yeah.
My mom is a huge Elvis fan, so I'm sure she would love that.
He's been doing it for 20 plus years. He's like, dude, it's what I know. It's like my second job. It's fun. I was like, are you? He's like, dude, we packed that room in there. I was like, how fun.
That is how
fun. So I didn't know they did that either, right? So, I mean, that's one of the cool things of just sitting down, talking to the dealers and getting a conversation going. So, so we got 2 more fun interviews coming down the pipeline with 2 more dealers from Ellis Island. I'm excited about that. So after that, I was, already expecting Bobby G to make it. He wasn't going to make it, and I knew Virgin was coming up in about 20, 30 minutes. So I told Tim, hey, get me off the table in like 15 minutes because I got to go over to Virgin, right? And he's like, all right, no problem. So I wanted to get there early. And one thing about Virgin's opening is I got there early, but they weren't letting anybody park or enter the facilities until opening time, which was 6 p.m. So I got there like at 5:30, right? I wanted to get there, get my equipment ready. Well, as I'm heading over, I noticed there was a car accident. A car hit a motorcycle, right? And so I'm like, fuck, there's already traffic. I get in there, get into the parking structure, up in there. Security are waving everybody down as soon as they're getting out of their car. Hey, we're not letting anybody park until 6. So everybody's got to get back in their car, drive back out. Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
So I went over and I just parked back at Alice, walked back over, got back at about 5:50, right? Doors were open.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute. I go, so where's the line to get in? And the lady's like, door's right here, ready. You can just go right in and we're open. I go, it's not at 6. She's like, no, they said let everybody in, so you're more than welcome to go in. So it was really like oh shit, okay, let's go. So
not the hour line that
yes, right.
That at Circa. The Circa opening was crazy.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. And that's one thing. I will show a whole video about pros and cons to the Virgin opening. Some of the things I wanted to touch and topic wise would be we've witnessed the Circa opening.
Right.
Okay, so it was really hard to not compare the two, right?
Right.
So one thing I noticed, and this was some of the conversations I had around town this week, which I thought was very, very interesting. So they had a lot of cool things that I noticed right off the back were there was a bunch of, characters, themes going on, a bunch of things going on throughout the casino floor entertainment-wise, right? So that was a plus.
Yeah.
The bad thing I noticed was nobody had players cards, obviously. Everybody was new. So every card kiosk had probably 30 people in it. And this was at every location throughout the casino. Now, when we go to the casinos, a lot of the times what they do is they scan your ID,
right,
have the mobile reader, and print them out, which I thought would have been way more convenient. Right. So that was one flaw I saw. And again, people wanted to get on the tables, but they wouldn't do it because you want to get a card. You want to get your comps, right?
Right.
Understandable. The other thing I noticed was there was no official dice opening craps rule, nothing like that. Right. I did see the Mario Lopez picture some people posted with no chips or money on the line or anything like that, which I knew was fake, but there was I didn't see a lot of the other CEOs from downtown or in town doing their thing, opening, celebrating, nothing like that.
Right.
So it made me bring up the question later on to a couple of the other fellas, and they brought up an interesting point. They're saying the reason that this didn't go down that way was because Virgin is not having a resort fee. So because the property is not having a resort fee, some of the other casinos are kind of like, nah, which...
They were upset.
Yeah, which I was like, But in lo and behold, you had places like Resort, real big on their outside sign, like welcome, Virgin and welcome to Las Vegas and stuff like that. So I was like, it's really interesting to see, the balance.
Well, then you wonder, because there's a lot of things that go in effect as well. Because Circa is a brand new building, brand new casino. Virgin is a rename.
Yeah.
So the establishment was already there.
Okay.
So, those are kind of comparisons too. You wonder, because Resorts World, they'll probably have a big updo when they open, right? And they'll probably have the CEOs and, all that kind of stuff because it's a brand new structure.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it.
Maybe. I'm very interested and I noticed
if any of you guys know, comment, let us know. I noticed it
afterwards. I was like, hey, I noticed, again, I was there early. I tried to specifically stay around the table area early. I went and checked out some of the sections and areas, got video, which another thing was a big topic about Virgin was because Virgin, after a couple hours, they started telling everybody, no recording, put your phones away, no gimbals. And I initially, when I went to park, they were like, hey, no gimbals, no recording equipment, nothing. So I was the only one out there like this when everybody had their gimbals. I'm like, son of a, so, but it's okay, no big deal. But yeah, I saw some YouTube channels, they were having issues with the security and a lot of other people's were even live streaming and doing their thing. So it went kind of wishy-washy. There was no, as opposed to other strip properties, when they first opened, they initially said, hey, first hour is all media. You guys are more than welcome to come in, record, do your thing.
Then after that.
So there was a standard set, right? I think that's what Virgin lacked on their part, is they could have set some kind of standard like, hey, expect this.
And I noticed that happens a lot at casinos there. Circa was a little bit like that, because remember the couple from Canada that we ran into? Like they were trying to tell... A certain security guards were trying to tell them that at the Circa opening, and they're like, wait, we already have this okay here.
Right.
Plaza's always been on point with us.
Oh, yeah.
They are awesome head to toe, A to Z. Communication's always there, and, if not, it's a click or call or text away and
Right.
everything's great. But I know maybe at the bigger casinos, it's just harder to get everybody involved at the same time.
Yeah. I thought it was very nice. That's one thing that, a lot of people did ask me, hey, is it worth checking out? When I got back to Ellis, Lindsay, the craps dealer, she's like, hey, should I go check it out? I'm like, yeah, it's worth checking out. I mean, if you don't have nothing to do, it's right next door.
Did you say like they had acrobatics in there?
Oh, they had everything.
As soon as you mentioned that on the phone to me, I thought of the movie Rush Hour. Remember that one where that casino opening and they have the people on? I'm like, that would have been cool.
They had people on stilts. They had people like statues. They had a lady doing like art with like dirt and then on top of like a lit up platform. Yeah. And it was bad. She was doing it all off the top of her head by hand. I mean, just so much different stuff. Violin players.
Yeah, I would have liked that. That's pretty cool.
Right, and that's what I think of when I think of a casino. I think of all the extra stuff. Right. Now we didn't see that at Circus, so it wasn't a big deal.
Because Circa was more of a black tie event. It wasn't. Hey, there's this grandeur. Everybody. It just seems like they were different. Motifs. Yeah.
I could see that. I could see that. And so after checking it all out, after wandering around, I decided, hey, I do want to go visit. So my thought process was, hey, I'm going to go ahead and surprise him downtown. He doesn't know I'm coming. I already have friends down there. Why not surprise him?
You have a car. You can drive
have
yourself.
The car, right. So I went back to Ellis, and as I'm heading out to finish, the last part of my vlog for the casino part, I'm vlogging. I'm like, hey, guys, if you guys like this, and I look over, and I see a huge dude, right? Like, huge, with a big backpack, and he's walking, and right next to him is just a little guy, a little shorter, and it's Dana White. And I'm like, are you serious? And I know it's him, mask and all, like, I could tell it's him, because I see him in a lot of other YouTubers' videos. He goes to Red Rock with a lot of the other YouTubers, the Nelk Boys and stuff, so I know he's always, he's out there. And there's a lot of speculation, rather. I kept getting messages after I posted this picture about Dana White, but I saw him walking. I was like, hey, Dana, how you doing? Big fan, dude. I see you on YouTube with the Nelk Boys all the time. Love what you do. Love the UFC and everything you guys are doing. What's your name? Like, Julian, man. I was like, I do a podcast all about Vegas, casinos, and gambling, and just want you to know, big fan. He's like, dude, that's really cool. I was like, you mind if we take a picture? He's like, no. Boom, pulled his mask off, and so we took a picture, right? Oh my God, the hate. Why does he get to not wear his mask? And why is he special? I mean, so much shit online. I'm like, come on, man. That's why sometimes on Facebook, I'm like, I just let it go. I just don't want to do it sometimes, But
time out. So that, you bringing that point up now, I was just scrolling through Facebook, and it was a great meme, and it made total sense. It said, a lady walked by and said, no mask. And she replied, no panties either. What do you think about that? And I'm like, that's right. Mind your own. At a certain point, if you're on the street, mind your own. I mean, you can't control other people. Yeah. You can do what makes you feel good, but.
But what's cooler is like the other comments that come in, like, so I posted, oh, well, hey, got to meet Dana White. And somebody was like, oh, no mask? Like, oh, what, is he special? And so people would be like, hey, you don't have to be an ass. The guy's sharing an experience. And so the people's comments, when they jump back on these people, I'm like, hell yeah, you guys are awesome, because I don't have to do it then,
And, and if you think about it common sense-wise, like, this is a picture you're never going to get to see. I mean, you were probably super appreciative that he took the mask off, because in 10 years they're gonna be like, why'd that dude have a mask on?
Are you sure are you
sure? I'm sure it's him. That was super nice of him to do that. I would have had no freaking clue who this guy was. Mask or no mask, I would have no clue.
Super cool, down to earth. I was like, how cool. So from there, I went back to Ellis, charge everything for a little bit, head over to go meet Bobby G, and we had some friends in town, the Kinos. I had met them at Virgin. Very nice couple. A lot of fun. Like, I can't wait for you to meet them. You're going to love her. You're going to love her. But so much fun. They were already down with Bobby G at the D. So they went from Four Queens to the D while I was heading over. So I decided I'm going to go park at Four Queens and meet up with them. He's upstairs at the Canada bar having a drink and playing video poker. So I kind of sneak over to the side, tell the bartender, hey, that guy over there, get him a drink from me. He doesn't know I'm here. And so I was recording. The bartender was game. And so he gets him the drink. And Bobby was like, hey, I didn't order this. Yes, you did. Right. And so he's like, no, I didn't order this. Yeah, you did. And he points over at me. Right. And Bobby's like, hey. So went over him. Always a good time. Here's that one point, baby, he got dealt 4 to the Royal, and he's like, oh, shit, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, we laughed so hard. I'll put that video in, too. It's just so much fun hanging out with the guy. You ready?
No, because it won't happen.
It's going to happen.
Ah!
Okay.
Every time I've recorded this, it has not
What do
happened.
we got, Bobby? What do we got?
Well, right now we have the Rampart Royal.
Guys, we're
at... Royal with, actually, we got a straight.
We're at the D upstairs. Come on, 4 to the Royal, Bobby.
So, what we need is a Jack of Diamonds.
Jack of Diamonds.
But being Bobby G, I'm always a Jack off.
Get them that Jack. Get him that Jack.
And there we go. Par for the course.
We tried. And then when we headed out, me and the Kinos, I gave them a ride back to Aria. I was like, hey, I'm going back to Alice anyway. Let's drop you guys off. We were talking about Bobby and just, how fun he is and how they like to see him every trip. I'm like, the guy's just genuine, man. The guy's just cool as hell and just a good time. So I was like, I'm not letting him leave town without seeing him if he purposely came to hang out. So I was like, hey, why not go see him? So played a little bar top video poker, which I never do.
And it's his favorite,
right?
Yeah, Bobby G's favorite.
And I think that's what I posted on Twitter. Yeah. When you hang out with Bobby G, you play bar top video poker. Yeah. So it was a good time. I love seeing Bobby. Love seeing you guys, man. And again, the Kinos were a freaking blast. We did try to meet up a couple times later throughout the next couple of days.
But when you're in Vegas, it's hard.
Well, yeah. And time is the worst.
Well, and you had a lot to do.
Yeah.
So constricting. Let's
see. So then there was the parking structure situation. So we're leaving, right? And I'm telling him, I'll take you guys back. So we head out to the parking garage, and I have, mind you guys, never driven on my car, right? So I never parked at Fort Queens.
Right.
So we can't figure out how to get up, number one, to the parking garage. And I'm on the top floor. So, because it was packed. So we walk out to the stairs that I came down, and there's no entrance to it because we couldn't find it. So we're like, how in the hell? So we go find an elevator that's got 2 down arrows. And so we're like, all right, we'll push the button, nothing. As we're walking away, it opens up and we jump in. We get up to the top, we get out of the elevator, we're walking up to the car. A big gust of wind comes out of nowhere. Now, mind you, it was windy some of these days, like crazy windy. Well, out of nowhere, boom, all of our hats fly off, right? And so like our hats fly off, we're like searching for them. They're still getting pushed by the wind on the floor, so they're sliding under cars and stuff. Me and the other 2 guys are running around looking for our hats. We eventually find them. We're just about getting, everybody's in my car. I'm literally sitting down to get back in the car. As I'm getting in this seat, one more gust of wind. Whoo, straight off over the ledge of the parking structure, right? To the next floor down, right? So I'm like, I just get in the car, and then we basically went down in the car, and Patrick, what was their brother, he was in my passenger seat, and he kind of opened the door, hung out, and reached it and grabbed it on the way. But yeah, our hats were all messed up. It was just a funny story, a crazy experience. But yeah, these guys were so much fun. They were laughing their ass off. So that was basically the end of Thursday. So that was the end of Thursday. Thursday, again, Wednesday and Thursday, not too much going on. I wanted to slip in Omega Mart. I wanted to slip in Area 15. And I'll get to those stories in the next episode. But we're going to break it up because there's a lot. And this next one's going to be even more wild because... Right. The gift, I mean, much stuff. So Omega Mart, you guys will want to hear about. There's so much good stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump this one out. I'm going to get the second part out of this. And then I'm going to give you guys a S-load of videos right after that.
Yeah.
So.
But coming up on the next one is great because it's Omega Mart. The best ever gift from Jonathan Jossel at the Plaza. Yeah. And meeting
another celebrity.
I was going to say his name, and I thought, well, we'll wait.
Yeah.
But, I mean, great stuff. He had a trip, crazy trip. And it wasn't even a lot of gambling or drinking, not like our regular trips.
A total opposite trip.
But it was so much fun for you.
And if you guys are casino lovers and Vegas enthusiasts, like, you guys are going to want to hear the second part because there's so many casinos I visit my last night. I think in a 4-hour span, I hit
7. Right?
7 or 8.
It was 7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8. So again, I was busy. It was a blast. But again, over at Ellis Island, Anna, Christina, thank you guys so much for the rooms. Thank you guys for being very lenient with me. The mask, I appreciate everything. There's so much stuff we're going to be talking about. I got so many sets of dice from Ellis Island for you guys, the subscribers. Yep. I got so much souvenirs, I mean, so much Vegas
He's
memorabilia.
ready to do giveaways. Julie
Guys,
wants to do lots of giveaways.
There's so much stuff we're going to be doing for you. I think I spent more money in souvenirs and stuff than I did gambling. Seriously. Yeah, crazy. So again, we'll be right back, guys, with another episode right back for you guys. Enjoy this one until you guys hear from us the next time. Cheers.
Cheers.